the quality of her work is lacking because back in the day, she used to put out an album every 2 years. She's putting out, and I know she's done a bunch of like re-releases of her old stuff. That's different. This is like, she's like popping out albums like it's candy. And I think the production quality is incredibly lacking because she's just able to do that now because she has all this money and all this like fandom that she should just like shell out albums and people will eat them up.
Wow. Brandy.
And she also put out 2 albums during like this incredibly crazy Eras tour, was no small feat. So of course the production album like on these albums it's not going to be good because she's fucking traveling around the world and performing and practicing performing, which is a lot of fucking work. Like where does she find the time? Of course this isn't going to be a good album. Sorry. This is my opinion. Those are my overall thoughts about this.
Okay, well, before we get into some more specific details about specific things that we don't like, Geoff, I would love to hear some high-level, big-picture thoughts that you feel about this album. It sounds like you agree with a lot of what Brandy said. And let me just really quick give a disclaimer in case you haven't already figured it out. This is not going to be, I'm getting the vibe, a very warm reception to this album. So if that's something that you're not into, that's okay. You don't have to listen to our criticisms of the album, and you can just skip this one and go to the What's Good section, you know?
What is that?
Justin.
Hakuna, Matata, Fiesta, Pinata. This bitch needs a fucking pina colada. I'ma meet, greet, eat, beat Bobby Flay, Princess Diaries, Anne Hathaway. Geoff, and welcome to Bants.
And welcome to the beautiful, the incomparable, the wonderful Brandy. Brandy, say hello.
Oh, hello.
Wow, Justin, already trying to control women. We're not even a minute into the pod. This is crazy. Brandy, you can speak whenever you'd like to. And know that I love that and respect that choice for you.
I really appreciate that, Geoff. You know, sometimes I need to be reminded of that as a woman.
Justin is saying, my wife can now speak. This is crazy.
Did I say that?
No,
welcome to your second hosting gig on the pod, Brands.
Thank you.
Oh, welcome to the Two Timers Club, Brandy.
That's right.
Oh, yes. I'm going to give Ben a run for his money.
Oh, yes, you are. You're catching up quick. We got to get the 3 Timers jackets, Justin. And we got to get 2 Timers hats. Don't you think?
2 Timers hats.
We are being asked for merch. And, you know, the merch thing is a little complicated, but I think we can maybe work something out.
It's hard to find affordable, quality merch.
That's the part, the quality. We don't want to put our brand on a piece of low-quality slop.
Our brand.
Our brand.
And we're having Brandy on the pod today because she is, I would say, a moderate Swiftie. Not a radical Swiftie, but a moderate Swiftie. And we are talking about the new Taylor Swift album, The Life of a Showgirl, today.
Yes, and I have many thoughts.
I also have many thoughts, and I can't wait to exchange them. I think it's going to be a great time.
Well, I have no thoughts.
None. There's nothing going on in here.
Yeah, that's a big empty head. What else is going on with you guys? What's new?
Not much. We've been chilling. I have a little bit of extra free time on my hands for reasons. No need to get into that at this particular moment, but we're chilling, you know? Playing a lot of Hollow Knight Silk Song, which I've talked about on the pod before.
Okay, the other day, because I've talked to you about how, like, I don't really play video games very much, but the other day I was watching a live stream of this hot guy playing Silk Song, and I was like, this game looks so fun.
Was it more that you thought the guy was attractive or the video game?
I would say it was 40-60.
Okay.
I was definitely
40-60.
Yeah, I was definitely pulled in by his attractiveness. He's like an MMA fighter.
Oh.
But he was like wearing like a rainbow shirt and stuff. So I was like, is he okay? I couldn't tell.
Or is it just baiting on Twitch, you know?
Oh, it could have been. And guess what? It reeled me in deep. There was no letting go. That hook was deep in the gills, baby.
Well, it is a fantastic game. I'm reaching the end finally, but I will say the difficulty ramps up towards the end. So
well, and he was right near the end, and he was getting frozen by things, and like there was all these chains that he had to like jump around and jump to. It was crazy. There was a lot going on.
I do gotta say, I have been hearing Justin play this game for weeks now, and I'm trying to snooze this morning because, you know, I'm marathon training and I'm very exhausted constantly.
Marathon.
Oh, yes. I'm trying to snooze, and I hear him from the living room playing Silk Song, going like, "Ah, fuck my life. Oh, fuck my life." Like constantly. And I'm like, doesn't seem like he's having a good time playing this game.
It's very satisfying to struggle through something and then accomplish it. You know what I mean?
It sounds like he's having the worst time of his life. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, you swear so much when you're playing that game.
I have to say, like, my parents used to say that all the time when my brother and I were playing video games together. They'd always be like, "Are you guys even having fun? We just hear you bickering with each other and swearing a lot." And I'm like, yeah, we're having a blast.
Yeah, it's kind of the point.
And I do that when we play Smash Bros. Too. I get so mad when something that I'm trying to set up doesn't work or I miss something, you know?
Yeah.
But it's so great. And when I win, oh, the surge of joy that's just radiating through my body at my victory. There's nothing like it.
It does feel extremely good. And yeah, you can always pick it up, Geoff. It actually does remind me a lot of playing Smash because it's like a 2D action game, and it's very similar in terms of like spacing and timing your attacks and dodging the other enemies' attacks.
I love 2D platforms.
Yeah, you do.
It's pretty great. The 3D and the open world stuff, that's a lot. That's a lot, Nancy.
It's a lot of time, too, and I feel like it doesn't respect your time as much as something like a Silk Song does, you know?
It doesn't respect your time because it's not straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I going to waste my time going on a little side quest that doesn't even really exist, talking to all these random NPCs, you know? I don't want to do all that. That's crazy.
True.
Well, listen, guys, I was trying to... So last night I had a work event. This event was very lovely, but the food at the event, it was like an Oktoberfest theme. Now, I am not a huge fan of, I would say, Western European food.
Mm-hmm.
And this was no exception. Bavarian food did not do it for Geoff. It was very meat heavy. There was lots of like strange, like almost Kugel-like side dishes. Spritzkel, I think one was called. And, you know, I'm not a big fan of that kind of food. So I said, I gotta head home and feed myself. But I had to drive through a weird part of town to get home from this event.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the giant red lips of the Dairy Queen lit up. And I said, I want to go to there.
DQ for dinner.
DQ for dinner, baby. Well, listen, I did have salmon. The salmon was very good. And I did have like a piece of sausage. And I had a little bit of like some cabbagey stew thing. But I was like, why? You know?
For a second, I thought you meant that Dairy Queen had salmon, and I was like, excuse me, what?
Oh, dear Lord. I can think of, imagine a salmon blizzard. Hi, could I get a small salmon blizzard?
Well, there's Dairy Queen grills that have like hamburgers and like chicken tenders and
what's going on with that? Have you guys
it's
ever
good.
had it?
They have good chicken tenders.
What? Really?
Yeah, I've had it many times.
Brandy's a chicken tender girl. It's really not.
I know you like chicken tenders, but I'm surprised that you were like, I'll eat them from Dairy Queen.
Yeah, that's one thing I will do.
I think the only food I've ever had from Dairy Queen was like a hot dog.
No.
Ugh.
No,
that
that's
just
not
seems
correct.
wrong to me.
I mean, other than ice cream.
Try again.
That's not the correct thing to eat a Dairy Queen grill. That's incorrect.
Justin, you got to stick with Brandy. She knows what's up.
Well, Geoff, what did you order from this Dairy Queen for sustenance?
I had to go with one of my OG faves, which was a small Butterfinger Blizzard.
Okay, so you were just going for a sweet treat.
I wanted a sweet treat to cleanse my mouth from the strange sort of sauerkrauty. Everything kind of smelled and tasted like sauerkraut to me. Everything was like somewhat like vaguely pickled. I wasn't into it.
Classic.
Yeah, lots of vinegar. So anyways, I had a lot of water, you understand, because you gotta wash it down and stay hydrated, keep it cute, because I can't be drinking at these events, you know. So I walk into Dairy Queen. I'm the only person there because it's like about to close. It's like 8:50, and there are like 4 Gen Zs working behind the counter, and they're in the middle of conversation, and they're clearly talking about somebody. And the girl who's taking my order seems like chill, and she's like, yeah, like I don't even get what her problem is. She like pretends like she's so innocent, but she's actually just like a fucking wolf. And I was like, oh my god, who are we talking about? Is she even pretty?
Taylor Swift?
But it was like record scratch as soon as I said that. Like I thought we were having like a cute moment. I was relating, and they were like, And then the other girl, not even addressing me, turns to the guy that's sitting next to her and he's like, why would her looks have anything to do with this? And I was like, oh, sorry. I was like, I was just kidding. And they all just like continued to serve me in like practical silence. It was very awkward. And then I was
I'm
like,
so
okay.
sorry.
And I like was so feeling like self-conscious. I like put like $3 in the tip thing in front of me. It was like, have a good night.
Jeff literally said, how do you do, fellow kids?
Okay, but like, I think it would be funny. I thought it was kind of funny, and I was like, oh my god, who are we talking about? Is she even
I was
pretty?
like, I put myself in that girl's shoes, and I was like, no, she's not.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I thought we were having like
Yeah.
we would have a fun moment because like they were obviously doing something inappropriate for work. And so I was like being chill about it and like thought we could have a little laugh and they weren't having it.
I mean, in all honesty, it's definitely on them. It's not on you. I think it's just like, especially if you are, you know, young and you're working in an environment like that, you never know when somebody is going to like complain about you talking about something. You know what I mean?
It was like a very Larry David moment, which, as you know, is a lot of my life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that was tough for me. I was like, damn, I'm just like too old to relate. Like, I thought they'd see me and be like, oh, like slightly older. Slightly, right?
Yeah, slightly. You know,
okay.
Yeah.
Younger millennial, elder Gen Z, older than these the Dairy Queen workers, obviously.
Yes, but I thought they'd be like, oh, he's chill. They did not feel that way at all. And that's really tough for me. And all this talk of red light therapy and skincare earlier before we started recording, just feeling old as of late, you guys. And that's really hard for me.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, well, you two are not doing a good job of consoling me. So why don't we move on to some of our hot topics?
Yeah, so probably the biggest news of the week is that Bad Bunny is playing the Super Bowl halftime show.
Yes.
And in addition to this, as partially as part of promotion for this, he is also hosted last night's season 51 premiere of SNL, which also featured the musical guest Doja Cat.
Doja Cat.
So, Jeff, did you watch the episode last night?
Doja Cat, as he says, which I love. Doja Cat. I did watch the premiere last night. It was tough.
Ooh, really?
Yeah. Well, okay. I'm going to say this. Don't cancel me.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
I think to do comedy well, you have to really have like a mastery of tone. And while Bad Bunny is Puerto Rican and American, U.S. Americans, as they say.
Puerto Rico is actually a part of America.
Yes.
Fun fact, yeah.
Oh, well, don't get me started on the Tommy Lauren of it all. Did you see that clip?
Yes, I did. I saw it right before I got in the pod.
That was crazy.
She's insane.
What a raggedy ass hoe. I can't stand her
nasty.
And the people who continue to like consume her media. She is so raggedy. She is so... I hate her so bad.
I haven't heard that
go.
name in months.
She looks like she smells like really, really bad self tanner and really cheap perfume.
It kills me. Do
you know what I mean?
Yes. She looks like she smells like a Bed Bath and Beyond.
Yeah, like
you
not
know,
good.
She smells like a fucking white pumpkin candle from Bed Bath and Beyond come to life. I don't understand because, like, you know, she started out as like a very light-skinned platinum blonde woman, and I'm like, bitch, is you Latina? The last time I saw her, which was the other day in this clip, I'm like, she is so fucking tan. She's like doing like the Ariana Grande of it all. She's like, let's be black this time. It's very strange to me.
Yikes! I literally haven't thought about her in years. That's crazy.
Lucky for you.
They hate us so bad they want to be us.
But back to Bad Bunny on SNL.
Well, I do think that because he maybe doesn't have like the best mastery of tone. I mean, he has learned English as his second language. I think that some of the jokes didn't like really land. And it was very obvious that the audience there loved him and wanted him to succeed. And I did too, but it just like wasn't hitting. But beyond that, they were just really missing something with so many of the cast that they let go or who chose not to return this season.
Yeah, I heard that Colin Jost was in the cold open, which I'm like, Jost? Doing an impression in the cold open?
Yeah, he's done a couple of like small impressions in the cold open, and it's usually like these nondescript characters in the administration who are like famous for a week. I actually missed the first half of that sketch, but the cold open, the half of it that I saw was just really bad. It was very uncomfortable. It went on for too long and it just wasn't funny. And the whole time I was watching the episode, I was like, where is Ego Nodum? Where is Heidi Gardner? I need them to be on the screen because it's so clear now that they're gone how much of the show that they were really helping to carry.
Yeah, I hope that they find their footing, the new cast members, and it's just difficult when you lose so many people. Yeah,
it is. It just changes it tonally, and there's so many new people. I think it'll take a little while for people to like find their footing, as most new cast members have a hard time doing at first. But I'm gonna keep watching. I'm a big fan, and I'm excited. Bad Bunny's playing the Super Bowl show. The Super Bowl show.
Let's talk about that. I mean, that's
Let's
what
talk
it
about
is,
the Super
right?
Bowl show.
Yeah.
Speaking of old.
I know, really. Damn, I'm doing myself no favors. The Gen Z saw this. They saw something I can't.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty cool pick. So I think Apple Music is still sponsoring the halftime show. They're still part of their contract of producing the halftime show.
Yeah.
And this continues their trend of doing artists that are appealing to the younger generation. I mean, it's a little bit wild to see how many people have responded to this news being like, who even is this guy? Because Bad Bunny is like,
he's huge.
One of the biggest artists in existence right now. You know what I mean? I think that it's true that you and I maybe don't follow, Latin music as much as the younger generation does, but like Bad Bunny is massive. He's like top 2 or 3 artists on Spotify at all times.
Yeah.
For instance, I have in my core power classes, there's usually at least one Bad Bunny song in the playlist during the classes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always a good marker of
music
mainstream relevance. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
If it's in your workout class, it must be relevant.
It's true.
People love Bad Bunny. Even people who don't speak any Spanish. People are like, I vibe with it,
Yeah, I'm excited for the show. I think have you seen any of the clips of his concert on TikTok?
I've seen a few. I mean, he just finished up a residency in Puerto Rico. And that was
31 shows.
Yeah, massive series of shows.
That's crazy.
The whole thing is a phenomenon. So I think that it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I think that if you aren't familiar, it's time to get familiar. And it's not that hard to find some songs that you'll like. Like, again, he's like top 2 or 3 stream artists on Spotify in any given month. There were watch parties in DC just to watch his concert streams.
Really?
Like at bars here. Yeah.
That's fun.
That's the level of community and like fame that we're talking about here. He's massive.
He's like male Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
In terms of popularity.
Sure. Yeah.
Excited for that. It's going to be a fun show. Will I understand it? Probably very little, as I'm not a Spanish speaker. But will I have a good time and be dancing in my seat? Absolutely.
It's all we really want, And I'm sure there'll be like a couple of fun cameos. We'll see.
Of course. He's collaborated with a lot of artists, so that should be a good set. But, MAG is going to continue to have their fucking meltdown for no reason. It's crazy.
Yeah, just one of the biggest artists, in current contemporary times for the Super Bowl halftime show, but a bad pick according to some people.
Boo. Okay, well, what is not a bad pick is the University of Washington hiring this wonderful professor, Nicole K. McNichols, because in the last 2 years, she has faced several different disruptors in her classroom. She teaches, she's a psychology professor, and she's also specializes in sexuality studies. And so, of course, there's a lot of people who don't like her being, such a high profile tenured faculty member there. Because she deals with sex, and she specifically deals with female pleasure in sex, which, of course, is a very important issue that people should talk about, and it's good for men to know. So, of course, dudes have to come in and try to ruin everything, as usual. And in the last couple of years, she's had several different guys come in and disrupt her classroom, mostly for like clickbaity online engagement. And I think it was 2 days ago, a very, I would say, schnazzy-ish, if you get my meaning. Disruptor came into campus and went into her classroom, the middle of her Psych 210 class, and he was chased out of the building and off the campus by her entire 300-person lecture, with the professor leading the charge. And they ended up surrounding this guy, who was filming, by the way, so that he could post it online. And he ended up getting absolutely fucking humiliated and humbled deeply. He ended up getting chased completely off campus by the entire 300-person lecture. They were all booing him. They surrounded him like a swarm. And then one girl went up to him and pepper sprayed him in the face. And then he was arrested and taken off campus. Have you seen this video circulating around TikTok?
I haven't seen this video, but this is I know. This is amazing.
It's everywhere. It's got like 8 million views.
I love it so much.
I did watch the video. Yeah, I mean, this is a tale as old as time. Like, young person who lives their entire life online realizes that the rules are actually different when you are in the physical universe.
Mm-hmm.
This is exactly what happens all the time, all over the place. It always creates great content, you know? So, like, it's not surprising that this went viral on TikTok. It's good to see that he was arrested for harassing this professor, these students. If you look at the Reddit post that you put here in our show doc, Geoff, if you look at the Reddit post, he's been identified as a guy who scams people out of their crypto wallets. So this guy is clearly just like a troll. Who knows whether or not the like white supremacy stuff that he was saying in class was like his actual philosophy, or if he's just trolling to try to get engagement.
Oh, just believe
either way,
they say that. Just you have to just take him at face value.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Either way, it's like heinous and just like sad, pitiable behavior.
And you know what I love about this story? This is, as Brandy called it, hopecore.
Mm-hmm.
This is bringing back public shaming. This is bringing back consequences. Oh, okay.
I mean, yes. I don't think they ever left. I mean, I guess like this kind of thing happens all the time. It's just you don't see it. It can be easy to forget that this kind of thing does happen in real life because we're all online.
Okay, let's move on because Justin doesn't like that hot topic.
I think it's a great hot topic, but I think that we have to remember that we do actually live in real life and this kind of thing does happen. It just doesn't always get recorded by 300 people on their phones. You know what I mean? It's just, this is a unique, perfect storm of circumstances that allowed this one to go viral.
Also, kudos to this professor.
Yeah,
she's
great.
a queen.
It's great. Yeah. Okay, well, this next one is also one that you added to the doc, Geoff. So I have watched the video, but Hayley Williams, the lead singer of Paramore, who is currently promoting her solo album called Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party, which I will say, sidebar, excellent name for an album. She's been promoting it. She was on a podcast ran by the New York Times. I think it's called The Popcast.
Yes.
And she was asked about a lyric on the title track of her solo album where she mentions a racist country singer's bar.
I'll be the biggest star at this racist country singer's bar.
And they asked her, as you, I think, legally have to do as a podcaster, so are you gonna like tell us who that's about? And Hayley said that it was about Morgan Wallen. I think, let me directly quote, "I'm always talking about Morgan Wallen. I don't give a shit. Find me at Whole Foods, bitch. I don't fucking care." I mean, we've talked about this on the pod before, but Hayley Williams is a real one. We love her on the pod.
Speaking of queens.
Yeah, she's great. Any thoughts, Brands?
I love her. I've always loved her. That's something I would say. Like, literally, like, I don't fucking care.
I also really love the song. Have you guys listened to it? Ego Death at a Bachelor Party?
I think I gave it one listen when it dropped, but I haven't been spinning it. Not that I didn't like it. It's just, you know.
Well, we know you're very critical of late Paramore era. So
it's just not quite as my vibe as the earlier mid-career stuff was, personally.
I think I'm sorry, Geoff. I do kind of relate to Justin. Every time I listen to a new Paramore song, I always just like want the older stuff. If that,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess we've got two fakes on our hands.
I know.
Do you have any, what do you think of the song? What do you like about it?
I don't know what I like about it per se. I just think it's fun. I just like seeing Hayley Williams succeed and do well and have her own music. I think that's fun.
She's always doing great. She will continue to be successful. She's such a personality. And if you've ever seen Paramore live, she's like such a firecracker, like has so much energy, is an incredible performer.
She's like one of our best vocalists.
She drinks water and then spits it up in the air.
She's a rock star.
Like a fountain. I love that. You know what? What was I going to say about her? I got distracted by my own thought of saying she's like a fountain. Oh.
Well, that was a pretty great take. So I think it was probably worth it.
Yeah, totally worth. Why don't we talk about your AI, Justin? Yeah, as you love to do. Talk about your Tilly Norwood.
Do we have to go to Tech Corner?
Your newest hentai fan.
I think we're in Tech Corner.
No,
guys.
I don't want to be in Tech Corner. Fuck the Tech
Brandy.
Corner.
It's okay.
Actually, you know what? When I
here.
ever listen to the podcast, sometimes I skip
You
over
skip
Tech Corner. Yeah, I don't like it.
Wow.
It's boring
Justin,
to me.
I do have to tell you, I've heard this feedback before. People are like, enough Tech Corner. That's why I'm always like, let's not talk about A1 today.
It's important.
I don't like A1.
This is invading our culture and pop
It's
culture.
creepy.
Well, yes, but also we have to listen to what our listeners like.
Well, as a listener of the pod myself.
Oh my God. Get the fuck out of here, bitch. Justin's just doing self-service on here. He's jerking it over here while he listens to himself talking about A1.
No, this one, okay.
All right, Justin, take it away.
Take
Take it away.
A1.
Speaking of jerking it, Justin is really a huge fan of this new A1 porn star, Tilly Norwood.
Listen, first of all, that's a misrepresentation on multiple levels.
Okay.
First of all, I am not a fan. Secondly, porn star is just inaccurate. So this is in line with the AI artist.
She has a porn star name. I'm sorry.
Tilly Norwood. Oh, yeah.
So now, this is the content the listeners want, Geoff?
This is what the listeners are here for.
You making porn noises? Right. Keep it going.
Fuck me.
Oh my God.
I think you have a career in AI porn, Geoff.
Oh my God, this reminds me of in 30 Rock where Jenna becomes like a Japanese porn star voiceover for hentai. Or no, it's like a video game. That's what it was. It's a video game voiceover.
Yeah, that tracks. No, but this is wild because there is a tech company that basically is marketing this AI creation that they're calling Tilly Norwood as like a real actress. And they're shopping this actress to actual real Hollywood talent agencies.
It's so crazy.
Potentially to sign as like to have rights to use her in their content and et cetera, et cetera.
Where is Fran?
Well, SAG-AFTRA has posted a statement denouncing this AI creation. So SAG-AFTRA is doing their job. And I think that the backlash to this has been strong enough that like this probably won't get much traction outside of like the AI scam folks that are just constantly trying to sell it as like the next big thing. But this is my thing about AI in general is that people are like, oh, well, it's kind of useful for like writing emails and stuff. But it's like, that's not what people are selling. That's not why the stock price of OpenAI is as big as it is. It's because they're also pitching it as like this truly paradigm shifting change in the way that we do everything, including art, acting, music. What's up, y'all? Editor Justin here. Just to clarify a little bit, OpenAI is not a publicly traded company, so of course it doesn't have stock. But I do think that AI has had a pretty huge influence on the stock market from companies like NVIDIA and AMD, whose stocks are being propelled by deals with OpenAI, and also established tech companies like Google and Apple's stock soaring after AI-related announcements. And this is all based on the fact that AI is going to be like a transformational technology that results in, at least partially, the replacement of human-generated content. I think that's the promise that AI companies are selling. So that's what I meant by that sentence. But let's get back to the show. And every time something like this comes around and like it becomes big, it sucks. Like, I don't know if you guys have watched the comedy, quote unquote, sizzle reel made by this company that's completely AI generated with AI voices, AI actors, etc. But it's like kind of unsettling. The voices sound like you're talking to like a robocaller. And then B, it's not funny. Like the AI writing that it's based on is deeply unfunny and totally misunderstands why people watch TV and what people are looking for in television.
Yeah.
It's just like a complete flop. In the spirit of Hopecore, it's nice to see something that is so bad being called out for as bad as it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's just embarrassing. And you guys do have a point that it's strange that Tilly Norwood, very porn star-like name, looks like a
teenager.
Yeah, teenager who, again, this is like the same kind of thing that you see in like animated porn stuff. And it's like very unsettling that this is what this company thinks people want out of Hollywood. And like maybe some people do want that out of their Hollywood actors, and those people have issues. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hate it. I especially hate like when she's like on the fake Graham Norton show in that video clip. And she's like crying and stuff. And
they're like, and it's going to be on TikTok, and then we're going to immediately monetize it. I'm like, what?
Ugh, it's all bad.
It's just literally treating actors as products to scrape profits off of, as opposed to artists who are like acting in a film or a TV show. Like, it's just wild to me.
Well, I'm hoping that we won't have to deal with A1 much longer, because I do think the bubble's about to burst, baby. All signs are pointing to a great recession. And it
Oh,
sounds
yeah.
like, according to Deutsche Bank, which, they're a nefarious company, I will say, but they were also the people who first predicted the 2007 housing crisis that ended up like setting us into a great recession during Obama's first term. They have said that basically our entire economy is being completely propped up by an AI bubble, and they predict that it's going to burst before nearly the end of the year or the beginning of 2026, and that it's going to completely like crash the economy because it's bigger than the dot-com burst. So we'll see.
I never want to root for a recession.
No, neither do
But-
I. But if one of the outcomes is AI being defunded, deinvested, that would be a good thing.
Yeah, it'd be great to see people stop wasting money on stuff that is not really
That no
effective
one
at what they're
wants?
selling it for. Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
that would be great.
Oh, and enough with the floppery, everyone. We got to get it together.
All right, AI Tech Corner is over. Everybody stop pressing the fast forward button on your podcast feed, okay?
It's too late. They already clicked off.
Yeah.
They're listening to Las Culturistas now.
Okay.
They said, fuck these guys.
Speaking of the culture,
Yes.
why don't we take a quick break and we'll come right back to talk about the new Taylor Swift album, Life of a Showgirl.
Oh boy, if we must. Okay.
And we're back.
We're so back, brands, and we're here today to talk about one of your favorite artists, I would say, the legendary pop artist Taylor Swift, whose 12th studio album, The Life of a Showgirl, just dropped a couple days ago. All three of us have listened to it. It was produced by Max Martin, Shellback, and Swift herself. This is the first album in a long time where she has not collaborated with either Aaron Dessner or Jack Antonoff. The last time that she collaborated with Martin and Shellback was on the 2017 album Reputation.
One of her best.
This follows her critically polarizing but commercially successful album, The Tortured Poets Department,
Oh boy.
and the end of her historic Eras Tour. This album was recorded in the middle of the European leg of the Eras Tour. So lots of different context coming in here. To start off, I think that most listeners know Geoff and I's feelings about Taylor Swift. We've talked about her a lot on the pod.
Yeah.
They know how we feel about her. But Brandy, you haven't had the opportunity to talk about your history with Taylor Swift. I'd love for you to give a little bit of introduction into your history with Taylor Swift and what you thought about her most recent albums.
Yeah, tell them why you're mad, Brands.
Okay, well, I have always been a big fan of Taylor Swift. I have been a fan of her since her very first album. I think it was just Taylor Swift was her first album. Yeah. I think I became a true fan during Fearless era. And that was like early high school for me. I remember being on the cross country team at Fitch High School and us singing Taylor Swift songs on our runs. One really important album to me during a very tumultuous time in my life was the album Red, which came out my freshman year of college. So I have like very emotional connections with a lot of these albums. Lyrically, I love her stuff. I like her writing style. I think it's really fun. I've pretty much loved every single Taylor Swift album, especially like Folklore, Midnights, 1989, obviously Red. Like those are like some of my favorite albums. I also think that Lovers slept on a lot, and I actually think there's really good songs on Reputation. I actually enjoyed Tortured Poets Department. I don't think it was her best album. I think it was kind of like thrown together very quickly, but like lyrically, it was very interesting to me because of like the lore of everything.
Mm.
Me being a Swiftie, I'm a little bit into the lore.
Allure is a big part of her appeal and a big part of her fandom.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I would say I am a Swiftie. Will you say moderate Swiftie? Yeah.
As opposed to radical Swiftie, which those do exist.
Yes, they do.
The
They're
radical
insane.
Swifties are out here causing all kinds of mayhem,
Yes.
cause the government shutdown.
And the radical Swifties, they're getting defensive over this album because
Oh,
I
they
think
certainly are.
I was under the impression that Taylor Swift would, even with Tortured Poets Department, which like not my favorite, I still listened to that album so much. Like I really did listen to it a lot. It was one of my most played albums last year.
Brandy, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you know that there's other music that exists in the world?
Don't worry.
Or-
Charlie was number one. So we'll get into that.
Just teasing.
So I was under the impression that at this point with Taylor Swift, I would never dislike something that she put out. I will always be like defensive of her in some way because I've always had a connection with her music. I don't like this album at all.
Wow.
Yeah, I really don't like it. And normally I don't see myself like re-listening to this album over and over again. I don't.
Wow.
I'm not
Okay,
gonna do
this is really big for like a self-described Swiftie.
Yeah, that's why, sorry, that was like a long-winded thing because I'm a Swiftie and I don't like it. So,
Brandy, I so appreciate you giving us all that context and a true and honest opinion of it. And I would love to know more about why you dislike this album.
lyrically, and I think this is something that she usually excels in, I hate
Mhm.
this album. A lot of the lyrics, they piss me the fuck off.
Oh, shit. Examples, please.
I hate the song Wish List. If we're getting into the songs I don't like it. I think it's trad wifey. A lot of people like it because it's kind of musically, it's like a bop to them. But if you like
Yep.
listen to the lyrics, I'm just like annoyed by it. I'm just like, what? Would I think is stupid. I don't want to hear about you talking about Travis Kelce's dick for an entire song. I'm sorry. If you want to mention it once, sure. But like an entire song, no, don't care.
I have to tell you, the wood thing of it is, I mean, I share a lot of your feelings so far about this album.
I have another thing.
Okay.
A lot of people will say, "Oh, she's just happy. She's in love." And I was like, "She's been in a happy relationship with Joe Alwyn and wrote Lover and like did Lover, which is a very good album. There's 2 songs on that album that I think are terrible, but as an album as a whole, that album's amazing. And she was in a very happy relationship when she fucking wrote that album. So that's not even an excuse.
I agree. I think she's been in a lot of happy, at the time at least, relationships when she wrote these albums.
Right.
Some of them were like obviously breakup albums.
Yeah.
But I don't subscribe to that narrative that's being applied here.
I also think that at this point, the quality of her work is lacking because back in the day, she used to put out an album every 2 years. She's putting out, and I know she's done a bunch of like re-releases of her old stuff. That's different. This is like, she's like popping out albums like it's candy. And I think the production quality is incredibly lacking because she's just able to do that now because she has all this money and all this like fandom that she should just like shell out albums and people will eat them up.
Wow. Brandy.
And she also put out 2 albums during like this incredibly crazy Eras tour, was no small feat. So of course the production album like on these albums it's not going to be good because she's fucking traveling around the world and performing and practicing performing, which is a lot of fucking work. Like where does she find the time? Of course this isn't going to be a good album. Sorry. This is my opinion.
Well,
those are my overall thoughts about this.
Okay, well, before we get into some more specific details about specific things that we don't like, Geoff, I would love to hear some high-level, big-picture thoughts that you feel about this album. It sounds like you agree with a lot of what Brandy said. And let me just really quick give a disclaimer in case you haven't already figured it out. This is not going to be, I'm getting the vibe, a very warm reception to this album. So if that's something that you're not into, that's okay. You don't have to listen to our criticisms of the album and you can just skip this one and go to the What's Good section, you know? This is not going to be like a hater fest. I think we all like Taylor's other stuff in different capacities.
Yes.
But
I will continue to re-listen to all of her other albums. This is not making me not listen to her. Let's make that clear. Like,
right.
I'm still
Sure.
But
and I think, and it's totally valid to criticize an album that you don't like. So I just want to put that out there.
Right,
And it's okay
and
not
that's
to
the
listen to this
thing.
if you don't agree. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I really appreciate you like kind of putting your thoughts into context, Brandy, because I do think a lot of times people are like, I hate Taylor Swift. And it's like, okay, sure, you can really hate people if you want to, but also we don't know her. And she's also like, I would not say like a truly like hateable person. Like she doesn't do things that are like actively bad, like someone like Morgan Wallen, who I do hate and do not know and have no capacity of empathy for that kind of a guy. However, I do think Taylor Swift is a good person, and I do think that she's a great artist. I absolutely agree with you, though, that The Life of a Showgirl is some of her worst work. I think that it does feel kind of like this was also rushed. Knowing that it was done while she was on tour makes a lot of sense to me. It sounds that way, unfortunately. I think this album is actually worse to me than Tortured Poets Department. which I think I'm on record saying that I thought that album was melodramatic and a bit juvenile. This is somehow even more, to borrow Justin's oft-used phrase, sophomoric. It really sounds like I'm reading the diary of like a 16-year-old girl in high school talking about her newest boyfriend or love obsession. I feel like the sound of this album is kind of all over the place. I don't really understand the connection. Like, I think Taylor and her team are great at creating a vision and a brand, but I don't really see how the theme of this album, The Life of a Showgirl, is reflected in any of the songs, sonically or lyrically. There is a lot of talk, which I'm sure we'll get into when we go track by track, or well, we probably won't go track by track, but when we talk more specific about a few tracks that we want to mention, that is apparently a diss track, or well, an apparent diss track to Charlie XCX, which I also am not a fan of for reasons we'll get into, but sonically, I think that song is probably the strongest on the album, and it's still like C level at best to me, and does not at all really relate to what I imagined or what the visuals kind of convey for this album. So that's what I'll say high level about the album. Justin, what do you think?
Yeah, well, like you, Geoff, I also wasn't really a big fan of Torture Poet's Apartment. I think this album is bad in a different way. Torture Poet's Apartment had a theme. Whether or not you liked the theme, it had one. Right?
I love the theme.
It was a creative work, and you could sense the vibe that she was going for, and if it didn't hit for you, which it did not for me, it didn't hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
This one is so schizophrenic and not in a positive way. I don't think it's intended to be that way, but lyrically, in terms of the subject matter of the songs, it's 50% happy relationship songs about her relationship with Travis Kelce, and 50% like really bizarre, like vindictive, like hit tracks. And it's not just the Charlie XCX diss track. I mean, there's a couple of other songs on here that have similar energies. Canceled, Father Figure, that are about seemingly people who she felt wronged her.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just not consistent with the supposed happy relationship narrative. And it's also, like you said, not consistent with the theme of The Life of a Showgirl. It feels very, again, not analytical, not introspective at all, very reactive, and just like screaming things into the void that she feels in the moment without any kind of deeper thought or meaning.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. This album doesn't feel like a happy record to me. So this narrative that people are saying about like, oh, she's enjoying her relationship, I'm like, she sounds pissed off. She sounds like she's deeply hurt and angry. This is coming from a place of anger.
Yeah. One thing that was, I think, maybe this is my own fault, and maybe that's the reason why I'm like so disappointed in this album, is when I looked at the set list, because she released all the names of the songs.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really excited because I liked how it was very like, it was a short album. And I think sometimes she can do very well with that. Like, I thought we were going to get another Midnights-esque album.
Right.
Which I think was well deserved. Didn't that one win a Grammy? Yeah.
I think it won Album of the Year.
I think that was really well deserved. I think that was amazing. I thought we were going to get another Midnights. Not obviously the same album, because you need to change it up. That, I feel like, album was really well produced as a whole. And I thought, because it was concentrated.
I thought Midnights was a good album.
And same with Folklore. Like, that was another like really well produced album. Like, cohesively as an album, I look at those things.
Yep.
And I thought we were going to get that. And then we can get into track by track, but I actually, my favorite song off the album's the first track. And then after that, I'm like, I don't want to listen to the rest.
In the first track, that's the Ophelia track, right?
Fate of Ophelia. Yeah. So Midnights is probably my favorite Taylor Swift album creatively. Like as a cohesive work. It's not necessarily the best songs are not necessarily on that album, but as like a creative album.
A Gesamtwerk.
Right. It was Taylor Swift kind of tackling her own neuroses and her own tendencies and relationships, and it was very introspective. And that's part of the reason I didn't like Torture Poets, because I was like, oh, okay, Taylor Swift is moving from being a kind of mainstream radio pop artist to somebody who's trying to be like a real creative in terms of what the themes of her albums are about. And then Torture Poets, again, went back to this kind of reactive, I have been wronged, here's an album about this guy. Right? And unfortunately, I think the backslide continues here. And to me, this album is so emblematic of the boomerization of elder millennials.
Yeah.
Like, I think we all have that person who is a millennial, like same generation as us, and they're posting, like square images with like mantras, like, but first coffee in a script font.
Oh, God.
And like this whole album, there's so many songs that sound like that made into musical form. And it sounds like Taylor, for the like, there's literal songs where she says this explicitly, like much of her creative ambition and her interest in doing interesting musical things was kind of just like faked. And really what she wants to do is just be conservative. Like it's basically like a return to the center for her. And she talks about how all she really wanted was a white picket fence. But then at the same time, she still is like mad and wants to put out an album every year and put out diss tracks for people who she feels wronged her. It just feels like not a lot of thought and a return to the center. And
Yeah.
Taylor has gotten old, I think, and not the same thing as growing up. Like that's what
Yeah.
it sounds like to me.
Like Midnight's was her growing up, and then this was like she's like my other critique on Wishlist lyrically. It's like lyrically, it's something that you can find in Hobby Lobby on a wooden sign.
Oh, shit.
Like that's how I feel about it. That's how much it pisses me off. Like
Yeah.
I really don't like it.
Does it feel to you guys like she's sort of like, I don't know, like stuck or something? Like doesn't really quite know what her new sound should be like or what she should be producing?
It's a little bit Katy Perry 143 to me.
Yes.
Where it's like, it's
Yes.
not quite as bad as that album, because I do think, and we'll get into it, there are like songs that sonically, production wise, are okay, are fine. And there's songs that are catchy, that the melodies that Taylor has written are catchy. It's not quite as bad as 143, okay? But it does feel like, and why don't we start talking about specifics, because I think we've gotten into big picture stuff enough. The song that you were really disappointed by, Brand's Eldest Daughter.
Oh, big time.
There are some clunkers lyrically on that song that it's hard for me to listen to the first line without laughing. Like it is that bad. It sounds like somebody talking about the internet in like 2012.
So another go back, this is me getting really excited about this album, looking at the set list, and then realizing that I was like big disappointed. Was a big one was Eldest Daughter, because it was the 5th track, which typically is like a ballad song, and it's like a very special song, very emotional song typically on our albums. And I thought this was gonna, and me being an eldest daughter, I thought I was gonna really connect to this song. Like I was really excited about it. Like I think back to on Midnight's You're on Your Own, Kid, one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs. I like really love that song so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I start listening to this and I'm like, what the fuck? She talks about how the like last time I laughed this hard was on a trampoline in somebody's backyard. I must have been 8 or 9. That was the night I fell and almost broke my arm. Like, what is going on?
That's not even the worst part of the song.
I know, that's just one part that I think is stupid.
The first lyric and like the entire first verse, I'm like, what year is it? Like, everybody's so punk on the internet. Everyone's unbothered till they're not. Every joke's just trolling and memes. It sounds like a boomer talking about the internet. I'm like, what is happening? Like, who is this person? It's hard for me not to laugh at it.
I thought it was going to be like about the pressure that an eldest daughter faces as being like.
Well, unfortunately, I think it was intended to be about that, but
it's not translating in that way at all.
When the chorus is "I'm not a bad bitch and this isn't savage," like this is not Lord Royals era anymore. That's like a cell phone now. You know what I mean? Like, we're not hating on people who say that they're a bad bitch or they're a savage. Like, we've already gone through that discourse and it was over 10 years ago. Do you know what I mean? It's just wild to me.
That's sort of what I mean by when I say like it feels like she's like almost stuck or something. It doesn't feel like she has become more introspective. It doesn't feel like this album doesn't sound like it came from a person who really is happy and is healed and is not like actively angry about how she is being perceived by the culture. This album sounds like it sounds like somebody who's still processing their fame, their infamy in some circles of the internet, and somebody who's desperately wants to be seen as a virtuous, good person and is frustrated that no one else seems to be seeing her the way she sees herself.
Yeah.
And I agree, this song is just bad.
Any other song that you wanted to talk about specifically, Geoff? I have a feeling there's maybe one that you would like to talk about.
Well, yes. I do want to talk about the Charlie XCX diss track, Actually Romantic.
Yes. Well, give us your take.
Well, I think that this song is like an ode to narcissism. And I don't actually think that it's doing what she thinks it's doing. I don't think people are hearing the song and being like, oh my God, savage takedown of Charlie XCX, fucking cokehead. Like, I think all that she's doing is like saying like, it's like she missed the point of Charlie's song Sympathy is a Knife, which is it's about Charlie being insecure, about being compared to or even in the same sentence or the same industry as somebody who is like this monolith of culture, Taylor Swift, and how she's like, I sometimes wonder if my career is even worth it because I know I'll never be as big as she is. I'll never be as successful as she is. It was really an introspective song about Charlie's feelings and processing through that. It was not a takedown in any way of Taylor Swift. It feels like Taylor was like, oh, this bitch wrote a song about me. Just wait and see what I'll say about her. And it's like, she didn't write a diss track about you, Taylor. Like, I don't think you heard the song.
It's also like everything that Taylor said on the song, Charlie already said about herself on the song.
Right.
It's like she's saying this. Like, did you even listen?
My
That's
favorite,
what I mean.
videos like on TikTok about these two parallels is like people being like, Charlie, like, oh, I feel really insecure because like I could never be like you and it like makes me want to kill myself. I'm feeling insecure.
Right.
And then Taylor Swift's, you're gay, you do coke, you do coke. Like that's literally what?
Also, like the weird like high school homophobia thing of like, why are you so obsessed with me? Are you gay? Like that's crazy.
It literally felt like Regina George, like Mean Girls, like punching down shit.
Yeah.
It's very crazy. And yeah, her talking about like, oh, no man has ever loved me like you do. I'm like, okay, you're also kind of like self-owning by saying that. If you think that like Charlie's obsession and love, if that's how you want to process it, is more than a man has ever given you, then like maybe there's something wrong and maybe you should process why you're feeling that way. Because in no way was Charlie like, I mean, Charlie's song was really, like I said, introspective and more about her own insecurities. And really, I think put Taylor in like a positive light by saying like, she is so successful, like good for her, but I don't think I'll ever be able to do that. And that makes me really sad and I struggle with it. It was in no way like any kind of damnation of who Taylor is. And then for her to be on here calling Charlie a cokehead, which like everyone knows Charlie likes to do coke and party, when there's nothing wrong with that. It's just crazy.
Like it's all over the album. It's not like hot goss or whatever. And it's just like puritanical for Taylor to be talking in that way about Charlie. And also like the obsession that Charlie, we could call it obsession, we could call it whatever, but like Taylor calls it an obsession on this song. That's like the whole point. Like Charlie is asking herself, why am I so self-conscious and so obsessed with this person? Like, why am I constantly thinking about her and comparing her to myself? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is all text, and Sympathy is a Knife is like 10 times more nuanced and deep than anything on this record, because it is
100%.
about analyzing and thinking about her own psychology. And it's interesting, where I feel like most of the songs on this album, Life of a Showgirl, are pretty surface level.
And in the past, Taylor Swift's been able to really well portray that, for me at least, like lyrically. Like this album, no song does that at all.
Yeah, and you know, I also think sort of co-opting Charlie's Everything is Romantic by like, you know, calling this song actually romantic is just like another low blow, because that song, you know, Charlie's song, Everything is Romantic, really is a song that comes from like a place of like peace and love and hopefulness and wistfulness and nostalgia for the past. And to like co-opt something that is like really one of her best songs, I think, in a beautiful track, and make it like a nasty sort of like, you know, low effort and clunky takedown track is just really another shitty thing to do. It's like you did like several shitty things here, but like now co-opting her title is also fucked up, especially when Taylor is one of those artists who like trademarks her fucking underwear skid marks so that nobody else can make any money off of it. It's just wild to me that she would try to do something like that. It's just high school bullshit. And this is part of why I'm like, I think Taylor's like really like in a bad place and not processing things well. I think like it's very clear from this stance and the perspective that the song is written from that she is unwell in some capacity.
It makes me think, like, going back to putting out albums too quickly, if she let this marinate for maybe 6 more months, maybe we wouldn't have gotten this album. It seems like word vomit.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And I think what Justin said earlier about like her music sounding very reactionary, it's like, yeah, this album seems like it's just full of visceral responses that were never really examined.
Mhm.
Like this feels like we're seeing the worst parts of her personality, which we all have. I know for sure I do. I mean, you guys know for sure I do. Like I can have very vindictive tendencies and responses to things, but you know, we all have to have like a level of like responsibility and self-control to realize those flaws in our makeup and try to compensate for them. And I feel like something that Taylor has done in some of her past work, like Midnights, is like acknowledge those shortcomings that we all have and is like actively showing that she's reflecting on them and working through them, and that, you know, the knee-jerk response is really not the one that you want to put out there to the world. And it feels like she didn't have a screen this time for this entire album.
Which I hate to be that guy, but there is a creative force who is not present on this album after being present on
Right.
many of her albums for such a long time, Jack Antonoff. And I
Mhm.
wonder how much of this, songwriting wise, production wise, because the production also is not very strong on this album. Like, I do wonder how much we're just hearing the absence of Jack Antonoff here. You know, I was
Yeah.
not an apologist of his on Torture Poets. I thought his production work on that album was pretty bad, right? But I think it's telling that you have him moving on and working with other artists like Doja Cat and Sabrina Carpenter and doing pretty cool and exciting production work with them, you know?
Well, also, I don't even think it's mostly his fault, because think about how quickly she was spitting this stuff out and how many songs were on the album. Like, I think Tortured Poets Department could have been like a really great album if we cut a lot of the songs.
Yeah, it needed editing heavy.
Yeah, and that's okay. I think it was just like mostly, it was like obviously like catnip for the Swifties. And I think
Yeah.
because she's so popular, she's able to do that.
Yeah, I do want to say about actually Romantic. Sorry, I just want to
Yeah.
finish this quick thought about it. Even though lyrically, I think that this Takedown track is like a total flop. I think sonically on her album, this is the most interesting. I don't think the production is particularly great, but what I like about it is that it has that punk rock kind of like almost grunge energy. Even though the lyrics don't match up to that energy at all, it at least has like something kind of interesting to listen to just at a musical level. The rest of the album, I think, is just pop slop.
Yeah, I think compared to the rest of the album, sure. But I gotta be like, if this is like rocky, then the rest of the album is really tame. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it just
Oh, I
doesn't
agree.
seem to me that Max Martin has the juice for this particular assignment. I know that
I
he's
agree.
an absolute legend.
Totally. He's done great work.
He has been working for a long time. You know, he's been making music for a very long time. I mean, his most recent collab, I think, was with The Weeknd, and he obviously is a producer in his own right and is a little bit experimental and strange. So
Yeah.
Max Martin is a little bit of a moderating force, I think, in that creative partnership. Here, it just feels like adult contemporary pop.
This is an album that happens when you're surrounded by people who don't push back
Mm.
and say, let's rethink that. Because I do think that Jack Antonoff, I don't know what it's like to work with him, obviously, but from the behind the scenes footage that I've seen of him working with different artists, he does seem to be the person who's like, let's take a step back and like, let's look at this from like a 30,000 foot level. And I think you need big picture thinkers when you're working with artists to kind of keep them on track, because artists get down in their feelings. This is their passion, right? This is how they express themselves. And so when you're in your feelings, you cannot always see a clear image of what all of the work that you've been, you know, toiling in, you know, in these little silos will look like all together. And I do think that Jack Antonoff is great at being like, let's take a step back. Let's look at all these little silos and see how we can arrange them so that overall this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I don't think that the people that she's worked with on this album were doing that for her.
And they probably were just thinking, like, we're not going to push back because whatever she makes is going to make money. At the end of the day, like, it's probably still going to make a lot of money. It's still going
already-
to get a shit of streams. Like, it's huge.
The
Like,
Fate of Ophelia is already the most streamed song on Spotify in one day of all time already.
Yeah. I also want to say, you know how I feel about this already because we've talked about it on the pod. Doing all these different versions already is crazy to me.
Oh, you mean the fact that she has one with commentary and stuff like that?
Yeah, she has that. Then she has bonus tracks that are already being put out. I'm like, girl, your album came out on Friday. It is Sunday. It has been 2 days, and you already have like 5 versions of this album. Some of them being like, oh, you can buy this. It's in limited supply vinyl on my online store while supplies last. This is so obviously just like a fucking cash grab, and I am so sorry. How much more money do you need?
I mean, that's the other cognitive dissonance. Yeah.
Really, really. I mean, in a very serious way. How much money do you need, Taylor Swift? You're already like one of the richest people in the world. You have everything you could possibly want to have. What do you need more money for? Especially at a time like this, when so many people are struggling, when the government is shut down, when there are people out of work, when people are being disappeared off the streets. How is this an appropriate thought to be like, let's put out multiple versions of this right now and just make money? I'm like, are you an insane amount of debt? Like, I can't understand it.
Also, like, know, would have been really cool. Like, she has spoken out about political arguments before.
Sure.
A little bit. I think she could do more as being as
Absolutely.
big as she is.
Absolutely.
This is like so centrist. And I know Justin made this comment. You said, or did she say this album was MAGA?
It was like that
Well-
was a text message that I received
Okay.
from a friend that was mostly in jest and a little bit of an exaggeration.
Also, we can bleep her name out. Sorry.
But as I said, I think this does represent a move towards a moderation, a move towards conservatism.
Mhm.
And I don't mean that in the political sense, but just like, what if we just remain the way that we are? And actually, I just want to
Exactly.
be like a wife and have a house with a picket fence and have kids.
That's not what
Yeah.
we need right now.
Which is just, again, this is something that happens in every generation. When people get older, there's a certain subsection of people who just move to the center
Yep.
on things when they get older. And that's like my galaxy brain take on this whole album. Is this album is basically Taylor Swift got into a committed relationship with a guy who wants to marry her, and now she can drop the facade and she can just be a conservative. Like, there's literally a song on here, like Wish List is kind of about that, right? It's about
Mhm.
just saying like, actually, this whole time I just wanted an excuse to be, I hate to say like a housewife, but basically like to be a wife and to have a family. And she says, I think, I'm
Which, yeah,
dropping
there's
the
nothing
facade.
wrong with that. There's
No.
nothing wrong with wanting to have those things. There are lots. I mean, you guys just got married. A lot of
Mhm.
our friends have recently gotten married. Some of our friends are starting to have kids. Like, there's nothing wrong with that at all. That's a normal thing that people want to do. But that she is like kind of saying like, oh, this was all a little bit of an act, and this is what I've really wanted the whole time. It's like there's an inauthenticity to her now saying like, oh, like a lot of my past work was me putting on a front
Mhm.
to be popular, to be well received, to be in the zeitgeist and for attention and money. But this is what I really am. And like I said, I think that this album really is an inside look of who she really is as a person.
Right. And it's not an artist that I'm as interested in as I was in her past albums.
Yeah, because we're now seeing a level of like authenticity that is really revealing, because now we know that the past things that she has done were not authentic. That's what I mean by there's like an inauthenticity there.
Right.
And that's tough to process because there are a lot of people who have strong emotions to a lot of the work that she's done in the past.
Mm-hmm. So, because I don't want this entire conversation to be totally negative, why don't we close out on our album conversation by talking about what our favorite songs on the album were? Brandy, I know you said that The Fate of Ophelia is your favorite song on the album. Do you want
Tell me
to
why.
comment more about that?
Well, I don't know if it's the fact that this is the one song lyrically that doesn't really piss me off. But this is the one song that kind of is stuck in my head a little bit. And I don't know if it's because it's the first one and then I'm hearing it more in like TikTok, but I actually like kind of like it like sonically a lot. Justin, I think you said it, you thought it was boring sonically, but I actually kind of like it. To be honest with you, I don't really have much to say, but that's my take. I think my second favorite is Father Figure because I think it's kind of fun in some way, but
Yeah, Father Figure is an interesting one to talk about.
yeah.
I do actually want to talk about this one as well.
I have mixed feelings about it.
Tell me.
So I like the sound of this one, maybe one of my favorites off the album. It's kind of like a little bit slinky, a little bit, again, sonically sexy, but lyrically, this is one of those strange, again, kind of like grievance songs. And I'm unclear, there's different interpretations to this one, right? So I've heard that she's writing from the perspective of like a Scooter Braun. So Scooter Braun is kind of the devil, the person making the deal with the devil. But when I first heard it, I thought this sounded like a song about Olivia Rodrigo, because she talks about having a protege, you know, somebody reminds her of herself. And famously, there's this rumored beef between Olivia Rodrigo and Taylor Swift about Taylor Swift being credited as a songwriter on one of Olivia Rodrigo's songs for being too similar to Cruel Summer.
Good for you.
And if you read that song as being about Olivia Rodrigo, it's pretty dark. What's up, y'all? Editor Justin here. Just wanted to chime in because I know some of you are yelling at me through your phone. Since the album has dropped, there's been a lot more speculation and analysis about the subject of this song, and the consensus is that the subject is actually record label executive Scott Borchetta, who is the guy who signed Taylor Swift to Big Machine in the early days of her career. So this is another guy who was involved with the Masters conflict, from whom Taylor Swift recently bought back the rights to the Masters. And I think that she's both kind of in character as a Scott Borchetta-like character in this song, and she's also literally herself. And, you know, by saying that her dick's bigger in the chorus, she's talking about, I have a lot more money and I can buy the Masters back now, which I think still works with the point that I'm about to make in the next segment. So let's get back to the pod. There's also a lot of like gender bending posturing, like mafioso type language, swimming with the fishes, I'm protecting the family. And I feel like Taylor Swift has this understanding of feminism that's like very basic and like first or second wave feminism, which is like, if I was just a man, everything would be great. So I should just be more like a man. I mean,
like that song, The Man.
The word dick is heavily featured in the chorus of this song, right? Mm-hmm. Which is a bold choice. I think lyrically it's strange. I don't really want to hear Taylor Swift saying dick that many times, personally. Yeah, so like sonically, I like this one because it's like interesting. It has the George Michael interpolation, which maybe is part of the reason why it's kind of fun.
I have to be honest, I didn't really hear the interpolation.
My guess is that it's just like, if you call a song Father Figure, people are going to think about that song.
Yeah, I kind of think that too. I was hoping that it would actually have like a true interpolation of Father Figure, because I really like that song. And this, I didn't hear it. Maybe I missed it. I have to be honest. Usually when we do album reviews, I listen to it several times. This was a one listen for me. Mm-hmm. I did listen. Actually, that's not true. I listened to Romantic twice, but the rest of the album I listened to once because I was so uninspired by it.
For reference about my opinions, in case someone's a defender of this album, I gave it many chances. I listened to it 6 times. Literally, I listened to it 6 times and I don't like it.
In 3 days, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, really 2 days because it's Sunday morning.
And you know what? I'm sorry. I'm really mad.
Brandy, that's okay.
Get it out.
And I'm really happy that now we're almost done with this podcast recording because I don't have to listen to it over and over again anymore. I'm like, oh shit, like I have to go for a run later. I have to listen to this album on my run. I'm like, wait, no, I don't.
No, you don't.
I don't have to.
You don't. And we love that free choice.
Mm-hmm.
So Geoff, you talked about Actually Romantic being one of the songs sonically, orally, that you like. But is there another song that you liked on the album, or was that the high point for you?
I fear that was the high point and the low point. I'm really sorry.
Damn.
I was excited about this album, which you know, because we talked about it on the podcast. I was really excited to listen to it and thought it was going to be interesting. I liked the theme. This album really is not for me at all, and I was disappointed. I feel personally attached. I have a parasocial relationship to Charli XCX, and so I feel really, I feel very defensive about her, and I've been streaming Brat again because I'm like, damn, this album is so good, and this is what I want out of an artist. True authenticity with no reservation.
Mm-hmm.
I've been streaming Brat. That is my go-to.
The gays have been out on full force too on Twitter and TikTok. They've been posting sympathy is a knife.
We'll ride for you, Charli.
We do ride for Charli.
Yeah, this is the anti working out on the remix album. You know what I mean? Like this is missing the point entirely. Imagine if Lorde put out a diss track.
Right, exactly. That is the exact parallel.
Yeah, so I'll talk about a song that I liked. So I think that in terms of the listening experience, the first 4 songs on this album are probably the highlight. I think if the entire album sounded like the first 4 songs writ large, I would have been like, all right, this is like a pretty low-key, again, like adult contemporary sounding pop album, 6 or 7 out of 10. You know,
right,
like,
exactly.
fine.
I was going to say like that gets you a 7, I think, if it's like all D's.
And my favorite of those songs is probably Opalite. which is, I think, maybe the lone exception.
It's the catchiest
It's
one.
easily the catchiest. It has a breezy, kind of guitar-filled, low-key vibe to it. You can imagine it playing, again, like open car windows in the summer at Target, right? It's very low impact.
Girl, we got to talk about the Target.
I think that lyrically, it's one of the least cringy songs. I think that Taylor always has clunkers, and it's kind of like, I call them Taylorisms. Like, it's kind of a mark of hers where she says things that are a little bit clunky or cheesy. That's a part of her appeal because she seems like a normal person.
Life is a song. It ends when it ends.
That's tough. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
But this album is entirely filled with Taylorisms. Like, it's 100% Taylorisms. Opalite is the one that avoids that the most. And I do like the metaphor of like a perspective shift being from like something that looks like Onyx Night to something that looks opalite. I think it's very romantic, and like finding somebody who makes you feel that way and a change of perspective is like maybe the best lyrical move that she makes on this album. But, you know, it's not like mind-blowing production-wise. Again, it reminds me of that Post Malone song that I'm forgetting the name of. That was like one of his big foray into adult contemporary pop music as opposed to hip-hop.
The Sunflower song?
No, not Sunflower. There's another one that is like Circles, I want to say, is the name of the song.
Well, you know, famous collaborator with Taylor Swift.
That's true. That's exactly right. Yeah, so that's probably one of my faves. There's others that I have like mixed feelings about, like Father Figure that I talked about earlier, Wish List, which I think is auditorily one of the strongest ones, but lyrically is tough. And then the title track at the end with Sabrina Carpenter is interesting because that's the only one that actually gets at the theme that's implied by the name of the album.
Right.
And so it's wild to hear Sabrina Carpenter's voice come in and you're like, again, I hate to be a hater, but like, be like, oh, this is kind of fun. Like the one voice that's not Taylor Swift's voice on the album, I'm like, okay, this is a fun change, you know?
Yeah.
So I do like that song as well.
Maybe I should listen to that song by itself because I feel like when I've been listening to this album, by the time I get to that song, I'm just like,
you're over it.
I'm over it. So maybe I need to like listen to that a few times by itself. Because when I've been listening to the whole thing because I really wanted to be prepared.
Well, and we love a girl who does her homework.
Yeah.
I really did. I really did want to do my homework. So I think by the time I get there, I'm not really like digesting it as much as I thought I would.
Yeah. You know, I always love Sabrina. So I was happy to see her get a feature. You know, I love to see her doing well and collaborating with different artists. I don't think that this song is anything special, but I do agree that like Sabrina is like a breath of fresh air on this otherwise like really dense and like dark album.
It's wild that it's so dark, right?
I mean, another one of my songs that I like is Honey. I think that one's actually not bad.
I don't remember that one at all, to be honest with you.
It's the same thing that happens. It's because you're at the end and you're over it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the second to last song.
Well, you know, album side, and you know my feelings already about her already releasing multiple versions, including limited vinyls of this album. The collaboration that she has done with Target, I'm like, if there was any confusion in your mind at this point about whether or like who she is, this collaboration with Target during a time of like ongoing strife that the public has with Target because of their stance on DEI and their absolute refusal to, you know, reinstate their policies in which they embrace DEI as like a core value. Taylor Swift collaborating with Target should tell you everything you need to know about who she really is if The Life of a Showgirl did not do that already. I want to acknowledge, I do think like I contradicted myself a bit, and I think that was more for me being like clumsy with my words than it is about my feeling. I said at one point that like to me this album of hers is us finally seeing her true authenticity, but I also at a different point said like if she put out an album as authentic as Brad, that would have been good. And what I should actually say, just to clarify, is like I do think that this is an authentic album. I just wish she'd go back to being the fake person because her music was better then.
I mean, like I said, I think that it's a little bit of a telling on herself moment as an album. And I'm sure that there will be people, because there are people, like I mentioned, who are getting older from our generation that are moving towards the center. And those people might find something to identify with on this album.
There's a lot of young people who are really into it too.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure.
And the trad movement is growing.
Yep.
The turn to this conservative in the center.
And I just feel like I'm not as interested. And in fact, it's one of those situations like with the Katy Perry album where when she says like, a lot of the stuff that I said that I was interested in to be cool, like my terminal uniqueness, to use a quote from the album, was like a facade and fake and an act. And now I'm actually like just want to be married. That cheapens her past work, which I think is like really tough.
Right, exactly. That's what I mean. It's like people have a strong connection to some of that work, and so it's really kind of tough to hear her say, like, yeah, that wasn't really me.
Yeah.
Damn.
I think this album was a miss for us, guys. What do you think?
This is getting a 5, maybe a 5.5 from me.
Out of what? 10?
Out of 10. I just really think she really missed the mark.
This is just I feel like this whole episode is just a continuation from your guys' last episode, because this is just hateration all over again.
I want to say something about this, because I think, Rolling Stone gave this album 5 stars. It is the third 5-star album review for a Taylor Swift album in a row, right? So Midnight's, Torture Poets, this album, all 5 stars.
Okay, they gave Midnight's a 5-star.
Yeah.
I feel like it deserved more.
5 out of 5, Brands.
What?
Yes.
Okay, somebody's sucking somebody's dick. I don't know.
I did not know that Rolling Stone had even already reviewed the album.
Yeah.
That's wild.
What I'm trying to say is that criticism is dying as an art form.
Well, yeah.
Things are either standums or you're a hater, right? And I don't think that the hateration segment, that was us being haters. That was the whole bit.
Yeah.
This, I think, is just criticism of an artist who we like her work.
Yeah.
In a lot of other contexts.
I think I'm just deeply disappointed. So I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10.
Okay.
I think it's just because I'm deeply disappointed. I won't listen to it all the way through again. Maybe I'll pick a few songs here and there, but like there's no chance of me saying I'm going to listen to Life of the Showgirl all the way through. I won't do it again. I don't see myself doing it again unless I'm forced.
Damn.
When we were talking in the car, I was shocked at the 3 that Brandy gave it. I was saying maybe a 5 or a 4 for me. That's where I land. Yeah. I think it's just like sonically mid, philosophically, arguably poisoned, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's a tough one.
Well, sorry to this woman.
Swifties, don't come
sorry
after
to
us.
the Swifties.
I'm a Swiftie. I'm not coming after anybody.
Yeah, you know what, Brandy, and I appreciate that about you. You're always fair.
I am fair.
You're not unreasonable.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's take a quick break, and then we'll be right back with some good stuff.
Oh, okay. I can't wait for the goods.
We love the goods.
And we're back. Wow, we've had a wide-ranging conversation about all sorts of things today. We talked Hayley Williams. We also talked about Justin's new favorite AI porn actress, Tilly Norwood. And we've unfortunately had to discuss the life of a showgirl. But now it's time for us to talk about things that we really like. In a little segment we like to call What's Good? And Brandy, as our guest of honor and member of our Two Timers Club, it's time for me to ask you, what's good?
Oh, well, thank you, Geoff. Once again, I am sorry for Actually, you know what? I'm not sorry for sharing my opinions about the album.
Don't be sorry. That's all that this podcast is for.
We love that. Well, Geoff, about a few weeks ago, wanted a new show to watch, wanted something entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard rumblings about this show on the TikToks, as the young people like to say, called The Hunting Wives. And I saw that it starred one of my favorite actresses for a very long time. I'm a big fan. Love her. I don't know why. I just love her. Brittany Snow.
Brittany Snow. What's not to love about her, honestly?
I'm always drawn to whatever work she does. I think she's done like a wide array of things. She actually last year, I think, put out this like critically acclaimed short story about abortions.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, you haven't heard?
No.
I think it's called, I'll send it to you.
Let me look it up.
Yeah, I forget what it's called. It was actually like so good. I think it's like a 10-minute short film.
It's called Red, White, and Blue film?
Yep. Yep.
Oh, yeah, Red, White, and Blue.
Yep.
And it's a short film about her living paycheck to paycheck as a single parent when an unexpected pregnancy threatens to unravel her already precarious position.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very good. Give it a watch. It made me cry. Anyway, that's not the point of me. This is just me saying I'm a big fan of
Yeah.
Brittany Snow. So she stars in this Netflix series called The Hunting Wives. The premise of the show is that this woman moves with her husband and her young son from Boston suburbs to Texas. I believe this is like I want to say a suburb of Dallas of some sort. Very conservative town that they moved to. And like one of the first episodes is her meeting these, I would say, housewives in this Texas town. And at first, like being very reserved because she's like, I'm around all these conservatives. And like there was like that weird relationship between them. And then she ends up connecting with one of the wives and she joins this friend group. And it's about like the drama and the crimes that pursue throughout this series. And it's honestly such a bad shit show. It's insane, Geoff. It is, I wouldn't say a good show, but it's like catnip. You're like, okay, I gotta watch the next episode. I gotta watch the next episode.
Yeah.
It's so like mind-numbing TV, but it's like very entertaining. So I highly recommend if you need like a nice little entertaining watch. It's good.
The Hunting Wives.
Yes.
How many episodes is it?
I believe there's like 8 or 9.
Okay.
But there's a little bit of a mystery because there is a murder that happens.
Well, I heard a lot of people die in this show.
Yeah. And also, Brittany's character also has like a dark past and she has like an addiction issue. And it seems, and you'll kind of like hate her husband in some ways because he's like very controlling, but then you don't know if he's being controlling for a good reason or a bad reason, or it's like also both. It's very interesting as a show.
Hunting Wives. Well, I actually just talked to Anna and she's giving me her Netflix password because I refuse to support them. But I'm gonna watch and check it out because I've heard quite a bit about it in the last few weeks. And
what have you heard about it?
Well, that it's batshit crazy. That the writer's room must have been insane because the stuff that occurs on the show just like is nonsensical and campy, silly nonsense.
It really is.
Also, that so many people are like, how is the second season even going to happen? Because so many people in the show are dead now.
It's a really crazy show, but it's very entertaining. Like, I think it's supposed to not be deep in any way.
Yeah.
Justin, I'm sure, saw some clips when I was watching the show, but do you have any thoughts about the Hunting Wives?
Well, I didn't watch very much of it. I got the strong sense that it was a soapy, sapphic, fun type show. That's basically what I got from it.
Okay, well, I'm going to check it out. Thank you, Anna and Gingy, for your Netflix password. I can't wait to check it out and see my thoughts, and I will be sure to share in upcoming weeks.
Well, Geoff, now that we heard about Brandy's What's Good, I'd love to hear about what you've been enjoying this week. So what's good?
Well, Justin, as you know, I'm a huge fan of the Real Housewives franchise.
I do.
Specifically, I love Beverly Hills. I love Old Atlanta. I love Salt Lake City. And I really love New York. That's a go-to franchise for me. And I have, I've been watching Salt Lake City this season. It's out now. I think there's 4 episodes out. It's been incredible. I watch OC with my mom. They have gotten a little too MAGA for me, to be totally honest, which is not surprised since they're all living behind the orange curtain. But the thing that I really want to talk about is that because Bravo canceled the reboot of Real Housewives of New York City, I'm very interested in this movement growing online to reboot Real Housewives of New York City, but specifically with the old cast and rebranding it as RHONY Legacy. In the last 5 days, there have been a lot of memes and online polls, and the fandom is out in full force, giving the Swifties a run for their money, trying to lobby Bravo and Peacock to reboot this franchise with the women that we love near and dear. I'm talking Luann de Lesseps. I'm talking Jill Zarin. I'm talking Dorinda Medley. I'm talking even Crazy Eyes and MAGA apologist Ramona Singer, because you know what? Even though Ramona's views are regressive and foolish and repugnant, I do think she makes for great chaotic energy on TV, and some of the most iconic Housewives moments have had her right at the center. So I do unfortunately think we need her back on our screen. I would really love to see RHONY Legacy happen, and I'm hopeful that Bravo and Andy Cohen will listen to what the fans want and revive this franchise, because I think it's time.
I frequently go back to that era of RHONY and
Oh,
rewatch.
girl.
It's the best.
Season 3, season 7, 8, and 9, and even 10 are the like peak. Kelly Kaloran, Ben Simone, Bethany Frankel, even though I know she'll never be welcome back on Bravo.
I love Bethany though.
I know. Bethany was truly a pot stirrer. And I also love Carol Radziwill. I think she's slept on. She's one of my faves.
I'm fingers crossed for RHONY Legacy, Geoff. I'm rooting for you.
Thank you.
This is actually a great opportunity to say goodbye prematurely a little bit to Brandy. She has another engagement she has to get to before we close out the pod. So bye, Brands.
Brandy said, I got a hard out at 11.
Yeah.
Brandy,
sorry.
thank you for being here. We love you.
We love your opinions
It's
as
great
always.
to have you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Hope to be back on for another time. Maybe a Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, well, that could be fun.
You should rewatch the show.
Well, I would need to watch it for the first time. Well, Justin, it's just you and me.
Just like the old times.
Just like old times. And just like old times, I need to ask you a little question. What's good?
Well, Geoff, I have been reading a book recently.
You love to read.
It's called The Name of the Rose, and it's by Italian author Umberto Eco. This was adapted into a film back in the 80s, I believe, or the early 90s, can't remember. It's translated by William Weaver into English because it was originally written in Italian. This book is really cool. It's kind of a Sherlock Holmes mystery set in 14th century Italy in an abbey. There's a lot happening. His history nerds will know. This was the era of the papacy. Is that how you say it? The papacy?
Papacy.
This is the era of the papacy where there were two popes. The Catholic Church moved to France for a short period of time. And because of some controversy related to that and some changes in terms of religious doctrine, the Roman emperor appointed his own pope. And there was a huge conflict related to those two popes and a lot of conversations about religious philosophy. So I'm sure a lot of listeners are like, all right, I'm out. This is the end of the episode for me. What I think a lot of people don't realize is that religious institutions for the longest time were the bearers of science and knowledge in society. It's actually only relatively recently that secular organizations and institutions were like the standard bearers for the maintenance of knowledge and science. So a lot of the conversations in this book have to do with science and like the maintenance of knowledge and the importance of like civilization and like institutions like this abbey that has a library. And this is in a time, of course, before knowledge was stored in any other way.
Right.
To make sure that this information stands the test of time. Now, the main character is this novice called Adso, who's a Benedictine monk, and he's accompanying a Franciscan monk called William, who is this like elder investigator. He used to be inquisitor, who in the Catholic Church was somebody who used to investigate accusations of heresy, sin, etc.
And miracles.
And miracles, that's right. So William is a really interesting character because he's an ex-inquisitor, but had a bit of a crisis of faith, not in God, but in the Catholic Church as an institution.
Right.
And because of that, he quit being an inquisitor, but he finds himself in this abbey where a person has been mysteriously killed.
Not the unaliving.
The unaliving. And it turns into a series of murders. And William and his novice are kind of tasked with solving the case. And this is all in the midst of a conflict between the two popes, right? Between people who have different religious philosophies about things. And a lot of this has to do with the way that the Catholic Church makes money. The Franciscan order, for example, believes that Christ was poor and that, people should live in that example
Simply.
and be poor. But the Benedictine monks think differently. They think that wealth is like a symbol of dedication to God. There's a lot of different conversations.
Listen, greed is good.
I don't know about those words, but they do have a lot of interesting conversations about the nature of money in society, the nature of knowledge and science in society, and also kind of about like the potential end and fallibility of knowledge in general, right? Which I think, again, we've talked about this in the past, but like during these times of strife where it seems like everything is very unstable, it is always a little bit heartening to me to go back to different points in history where we've gone through similar things before, right? There's always been anxiety about civilization ending, about the loss of knowledge and culture. And this book also tackles that. So it's like 50% pretty high intensity thriller about people getting killed in this like abbey, which is like a really interesting setting for something like that. And then the other 50% is kind of like essays about philosophy, knowledge, and religion, which I think is really cool. So it's a little bit of both worlds. I should also mention that Umberto Eco wrote How to Spot a Fascist. So he has a lot of thoughts about fascism, politics that come out in interesting ways in this novel as well. So would definitely recommend it if any of the stuff that I just said interests you. That's The Name of the Rose by Umberto Eco.
Well, Justin, that sounds like an interesting read that would appeal to a large cross-section of the population. Folks who enjoy religious matters, folks who are skeptics of religious institutions, particularly the Catholic Church, people who just like murder mysteries.
That's right.
And people who are on high alert, let's say, for the rise of the radical right and fascism.
Yeah, it's a really interesting kind of mashup of different topics and themes and genres. So I've been enjoying it.
How long is this book?
It's pretty long. If you're not a reader, it might be a tough one to dip your toe into, you know? I think it's about somewhere between 500 and 600 pages.
Are there any pictures in this book?
You know, there are, because there's a building in the book where a lot of the murders take place. And it's very specifically designed with like actual dimensions and stuff. So it's not like pictures to be like illustrative and beautiful. It's more like nerdy shit. Like, let me grid out how this building, like Umberto actually drew out the blueprints for the building before he even started writing the book.
Now I'm very interested because, of course, you know, I can't read. So the pictures are key. But I love blueprints. You know, I love blueprints.
It's pretty sick. I mean, in the edition that I have, there is a bunch of his like planning documents. So like there's the fully finished kind of structure of the building. And then there's also like his initial sketches and stuff, which I think is really interesting in terms of the planning of the book.
I'm actually going to look those up right now because I'm very interested in that. You know, famously, I studied architecture. A lot of people don't know that about me.
There's a lot of stuff about history of architecture in the book as well. It's cool.
Well, I also love medieval architecture. I'm particularly fascinated by that. And this sounds like it's of that era.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, 14th century.
I love monastic architecture. Very beautiful and utilitarian.
Well, Geoff, this has been, I would say, a surprisingly dark episode for an episode about a Taylor Swift album, but a fun one.
Yeah. It has been fun. Loved having Brandy.
Yes.
Two-timer on the pod.
Soon 3-timer, question mark?
Question mark.
We'll see.
It's a sure thing.
Okay.
It's just a matter of time, Justin. Don't you see?
Whenever that Buffy reboot comes out, where she's potting.
Wait, is that happening? I forget. You know, I don't remember anything. There's a Buffy reboot happening?
Yes, it's in production. Sarah Michelle Gellar is involved.
Okay.
That's all that we really know at this point, but apparently it is coming.
I do think I knew that. Sarah Michelle Gellar has been in the spotlight as of late. She's been out there. She's been at premieres.
It's Y2K revivalism writ large, you know? Like all of her old franchises are coming back. I know what she did last summer, now Buffy. Yeah.
I love that for her. I've always liked Sarah Michelle Gellar. And Freddie Prinze Jr., they're a Hollywood dream couple.
Very true.
Both
Very
gorgeous,
true.
Both very talented. Nice family, beautiful family.
I know what she did last summer. One of the hottest casts of all time, I would say.
Truly.
Yeah.
Jerking it and gherking it. Love it. Well, Justin, I don't think I have anything else to say. Other than bye.
This has been Bants with Geoff and Justin. Bants is created and produced by Jeff Taylor and Justin Benavidez. Graphic design by Jeff Taylor. Editing by me, Justin Benavidez. The theme music for Bants is the track Nebraska With You by Sam Day and is provided by No Copyright Sounds. Email us at bantspod@gmail.com with any questions, recommendations, or just to say hi. If you like the podcast, rate and review us on Apple or Spotify. And tell your friends. Bye. Sorry, I
need to take a break because I'm about to shit my pants.
Okay. Well, that's going in the
blooper.
I want it to go right into the break part.